Well, boys and girls, the Lord has provided again. It all started about the end of June. I was about a month or two into this YouTube journey, and I felt like I really needed some calling and direction. I was starting to lose sight of who I was and what I was about, what God made me to do. And so I went on a little retreat. The opportunity arose where I could go house sit for a friend, and so I stayed at their home for a week by myself. My wife didn't even come with me. And I just called out to God. I prayed and fasted and sought the Lord for my calling and for my purpose. And it was during this time that I wanted to throw out a proverbial fleece to God and ask Him, is YouTube what I'm supposed to be doing? And I really sensed from the Lord, He was saying, no, we're not going to do that this time. What you're going to do is exactly what I made you to do. And you are a pastor and a teacher. And you're going to go on YouTube and you're going to teach. And you're going to pastor people, you're going to shepherd them towards me, and you're going to help them. And so I said, okay, Lord. You may not know this unless you've watched my previous video, but I'm a flip phone user. I do not have a smartphone, which makes recording YouTube a little bit more challenging. Obviously, I need a camera in order to do this. Now, you may be able to tell by the quality of the camera that I'm not using a flip phone. What I was using in the beginning was this old kind of underwater kids camera that somehow was able to shoot in 4K, but the picture quality is just, it's terrible. You can go and look at my first videos. They kind of suck, but that's neither here nor there. I was pleading with the Lord. I said, Lord, I need a new camera. I was afraid to spend the money on one. And I really don't think it was because I didn't have the money necessarily, but it was more, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? I was unsure. And so I think I rationalized in my mind, oh, I don't have the money for it. But really, I just wasn't sure that I was supposed to be doing it. So I'm a business owner. I have a day job that I work from about 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then I have an exterior cleaning company that I run after hours. And so I try to work about 2 to 3 jobs a week. And at this particular time, I think I had one job lined up for the following week. And so I said, okay, Lord, if you get me a job for Thursday for $400, I will go and spend that money on a camera. Or that was Sunday night when I told the Lord this. I wake up Monday morning, and just to note, work had been pretty dead for a while. I was not getting a lot of jobs. Within the first 2 hours of the day, I get a call. It's someone, boom, job on Thursday, twice as much as I had asked for. And so that to me just felt like this resounding, yes, Austin, I've told you you're supposed to do this. Here's your confirmation. Go get it. And so I went and did the job. And on top of that, there was an add-on service that the customer wanted. I walked home with more than enough to go get a new camera, but I was still hesitant. And so I kept asking God for little signs and little things, and He kept just over and over confirming, this is what I want you to do. But He was testing my faith, you guys. And this is an important lesson that God's not always going to make it abundantly clear what we're supposed to do. He's very gracious, and sometimes He will, but He wants us to trust Him. And what it really came down to was I learned my identity over that time period of being at my friend's house sitting, as I was reminded of who I am. And then from there, He says, now go do it. This is your platform. Go do it. This camera, the Osmo Pocket 3, my heart fell in love with it. I was like, this is the one. This is so versatile. It's so unique for what I want to do with it. And so I bought it. And it was more money than I was comfortable spending. But when I looked at the numbers, after tax, after expenses from that job, this camera was pretty much, it was over 100% covered by that one job that God gave me. And so it was a wash. And this is what I'm doing now. And so this was kind of like my proverbial jumping off of the cliff to buy this thing and get into it. So I share this testimony hopefully to encourage you guys. There are probably a lot of you who are waiting on God for something that God has already said, go do. And so I'm encouraging you to seek the Lord, spend time with Him, make sure that you have heard His will. But when you have learned who you are, learned what His will is for your life, don't hesitate. This is a partnership that we have with God. It requires cooperation. We are in the end of days. People have been saying that forever. Oh, we're in the last days. And, truthfully, ever since Jesus ascended into heaven, we've been in the last days. But we're in a day and age where we need to be self-sufficient Christians. And I don't mean spiritually. I mean physically. I mean, we should be putting ourselves in positions to take care of ourselves. Has God been calling you to start a business? Why haven't you started it yet? Has God been calling you to start a YouTube channel? Why haven't you started it yet? What has God been calling you to do that you're not doing? What's the reason that you're waiting? Are you scared? Are you unsure if this is really what God's called you to do? I would really encourage you to take some time alone with the Lord. Go on a little spiritual retreat. Get a hotel for 2 nights, Just go pray and fast and seek God's face and seek His favor. I'll bet you that you probably know who you are a little bit better than you think. I made a video about this very topic that I'll link right here for you guys. Discovering who we are is actually a little bit more of a coming home experience than it is a embracing the unknown. And then the other question I would ask is, are we zealous for good works? Do we truly want to serve God? There's so much, I almost feel like works for God has become this bad word in these hyper grace circles of Christianity where it's like, oh, we can't love works because we're not saved by works. No, we're not saved by works. But works are very good. It says in Ephesians 2:8, for by grace you have been saved, not of works, lest any man should boast. And then we get stuck there. But it goes on to say that God prepared good works in advance for us to do. We should be zealous for good works, to serve the Lord, to love Him, to desire Him, to help His people. James says that true religion is this, to care for the orphan and the widow, and to keep oneself from being polluted by the world. This is important. And so, are we being lazy? Is that the issue? I think it is sometimes. There's a balance of rest and work, but sometimes we're just being lazy and we need to wake up because the days are getting shorter, the days are evil, and the Lord is coming soon. And we want to be prepared for His coming, don't we? Of course we do. So I leave you with this. How are you building for your future today? How are you building your family? How are you building up your church? Maybe you're called to start a church. Does that sound like too big of a calling for you? I totally understand. I feel like the Lord is calling me into the same thing and I have no idea where to begin. Please pray for me. I mean that. Please pray for me. But I would just say that hearing testimonies like these, sharing testimonies of faith will encourage each other. And then that quiet, secret place time with the Lord is so important. So cultivate it, spend time in the prayer closet, and get to know your calling and your purpose. If you want to hear another testimony about how God helped me start my business, check out this video right here.